What's up guys? On today's video, we're gonna go over all the tools I use for tanning at home, so let's get into it. The first stage of tanning an animal at home is skinning and fleshing. For skinning, all I use is a Havalon replacement blade knife. I've been using this thing since it came out. I absolutely love it. I don't pack any other knives in the field anymore with me. Even for moose, I'll use this for skinning, quartering, cutting up, deboning. If you're careful and you use it as a knife and you don't pry with it, you're not gonna break any blades on them. Last time I did a moose, I used one blade to do the whole moose. That was quartering it out and everything. So really love these things. It's nice not having to worry about packing a stone or if your normal knife is sharp. For replacement blades, you can find them in boxes of 100. Last time I bought this box, it cost about $35, so they're fairly cheap, and you can sharpen them too if you want. I don't typically. I usually just throw them out. They're cheap enough. For fleshing the animal, a lot of people do like using pressure washers. I'm still not sold on it. I haven't tried it. Maybe this summer I'll keep a hide and pressure wash it and try it. I'm just not convinced, as none of the professionals go that route. They all still use two-handed fleshing knives. So if you're gonna be fleshing, a fleshing beam, a big one here like I have in front of me, really nice to have. Small ones, as I showed in a short video, these are nice. You can make it yourself, really cheap. And it's nice to be able to work on a table or do fine detailed fleshing or thinning with like feet or faces. Don't do what I did, and the first two-handed fleshing knife I bought was a cheap one, $35. These things are garbage, throw them out. So don't do what I did. Save your money and buy one that's a little better. I got a Necker knife here, cost around $100. You can get a really good sharp edge on this thing. It's got a nice dull edge here for pushing on it. So go this route, spend a little bit more money on a good fleshing beam. I think or a fleshing knife, even if you are going to use a pressure washer, I think you still wouldn't want to go over the hide with a two-handed fleshing knife here. For smaller game, these little stirrup scrapers are nice. Has a really nice edge on it. You can do fine detailed work, especially on the smaller game, raccoons, beavers, mink, otter. You can also use them on bigger animals, white-tailed deer, in the armpit areas where the hide's thinner or whatever. You can be a little more careful with it. So really nice tool to use. Another thing for fleshing is the little fleshing cone here. Another nice detailed fleshing beam to use in faces, ears, feet, that type of stuff. For bigger game, if you're doing taxidermy work especially, and you're going to be doing ears, these ear openers are really nice. They only work if the animal is fresh. I would say killed within 24 hours. Any longer than that, they don't really work very well. But they do give you a nice point if you want to skin out ears to jam in there, like kind of like a stick, and still use a knife. Another knife I use for doing fleshing and detailed work is a replacement blade scalpel. You can get the blades, once again, really cheap. Stainless steel handle. You can get them off Amazon for only a couple bucks now. They're really cheap, but really nice to have. There's different style of blades you can get for them. Really recommend having this, especially if you're going to start doing wet tanning for taxidermy. And the last thing, kind of doing with skinning out, if you're going to do small animals, the tail's going to be a pain in the butt to do. Getting a cheap tail stripper here, they work really well, speeds up the process, and you make less mistakes when skinning out small animal tails here. If you think you're going to be doing a bunch of tanning over the years, buy one of these taxidermy rubber aprons. They have a double panel in the midsection so you don't wear holes while working over a fleshing beam. Worth picking up if you're going to do a whole bunch over the years. For all my bass, I'm using these Rubbermaid totes. This one here I've had for 18 years. Once you buy them, they last forever. I can fit a 10-gallon pickle in this size here with room that you're not going to splash anything out of it. Any bigger, and then I use a Rubbermaid garbage can for the bigger pickles. For weighing out my salt and baking soda, I like using the stainless steel meat scale. I used to use an electronic scale, but with all the salt water in your pickle and other baths, it ends up getting inside the electronics and ruining it. So either go something that's plastic or stainless steel. It doesn't have to be crazy accurate when we're asking for a pound of salt. If it's within a 1 ounce or 2 ounces, that's close enough. It's not going to be a problem. As far as measuring the liquids, I just use a 1 ounce shot glass. It's close enough. Once again, you don't have to be crazy accurate. One thing I have noticed watching some other YouTube videos on tanning, people have been weighing their liquids, and that's wrong. So if we say we want 3 ounces of safety pickle, it's 3 fluid ounces, not 3 weight ounces. So don't make that mistake. If you want to shave your hide down, a cheap way to do it at home is using a sharp fillet knife, something that's flexible. It'll give you good control to shave that hide down thinner if you want to, and everyone has a fillet knife at home. Another tool for shaving your hide down, especially facial areas, detailed areas, feet, or small game, a scythe knife works really well. You have good control with it, and they just use these disposable blades you can get online that are fairly cheap. As far as pH strips goes, when I first started out, I bought these 1 to 14 pH strips. They're not accurate enough for your pickle. Get the ones that are 0 to 6. These ones you'll get a better understanding of the pH of your pickle, and you will see if it starts to raise up quicker than on the ones that are more broadly covered in the pH range. So if you start losing your 2 pH, you'll find it a lot quicker with these ones. Once your hide is tanned and dried, I like going over with some sort of sandpaper. An orbital sander with 60 grit sandpaper works really well, gives it a nice finished look to it, makes it soft, more professional looking than not sanding it. If you want to do a bigger hide, if you're doing an elk or a moose and you want to remove a lot of material, thin it out, make it a little softer, you can use an angle grinder with one of these flap discs on it. This is 40 grit. You have some pretty good control while using this, and it can remove a lot of material fairly quickly if you want. I've tried using a belt sander before. I find they're a little too aggressive and it's really easy to burn holes through them, but you can try it if you want. And the final step is grooming your hide. Just these dog brushes work really well. Nice and simple, cheap off Amazon. Anyways, that's it. That's all the tools I use for tanning at home, both dry tanning and wet tanning. If you have any questions, throw those on down below. I always check the comment section. Thanks for watching the video, and we'll see you on the next one.